Ready to make a difference? This is the Palm Harbor Chamber of Commerce podcast, where we connect you with the stories behind our local businesses.
This is our very first episode of this podcast, and I have truly Jason Avery as the number one episode guy I wanted on this podcast. Why? Well, you're going to learn a lot about Jason and his way of thinking. I think he's the mastermind. I think you've done a great job through the chamber. You've been in the chamber almost, 12 plus years?
Yes, sir.
Past chairman. You've been on every single position on the board. You've done great service for our community. You've done great service for our chamber. And unbelievable. So if you don't know much about Jason Avery, he's the owner of Avery Construction. It's a state-certified general contractor company, remodeling kitchens and bathrooms all over our county. I think you're in, 3 different counties now?
When I started, it was about 8, and I've been able to narrow that target to about 2.5. So Pinellas and Hillsborough, southern half of Pasadena.
All right, that's good. So, obviously, you have 45 trade professionals complete over $5 million in renovations annually. Wow, that's very impressive. So, tell me about that $5 million. Tell me about that 45 trades professionals that you actually work with and how you evolve them.
Well, it didn't start that way. When I joined this chamber, over a decade ago, I was a startup business like a lot of the members that joined the chamber today. And
right.
I had 3 guys doing labor. I had a bookkeeper that worked 1 day a week.
Right.
And through the networking efforts that I didn't come in knowing this stuff, but I was mentored and trained through, and I applied, and I did it effectively. I have, over the years, now grown to this 45-person team, and I positioned myself to work on the business instead of in the business, and hence I've gone on to start some other businesses since then.
And the other businesses. Talk a little bit more about those other businesses, because I know you're very diversified.
It's Designer Cabinets is a factory, builds cabinets and wholesales them to the contractors that use them. I knew that Avery Construction had enough business as the first client to pay the bills, and 8 years later, now we have a dozen other contractors we support. On the constructing success side, it stemmed from my book that I wrote. It was a bestseller, and I decided to follow that up with what's next. So when a young general contractor is coming up in this industry, I want to take that person under my wing. Frankly, all the older men are retiring off, and most of our youth doesn't like to do manual labor. So when I find those who are interested in this industry and already got the qualifications, I mentor them. I feed them projects that aren't going to be a perfect fit for me, and ultimately some of them hire me for additional coaching, teaching them how my pricing models work, how my cash flow projection works, so you're not robbing from Peter to pay Paul. Right. Teaching a trades professional how to now be a business owner, because there's a whole different set of skill sets that come with that. Absolutely. Your job is no longer to do the physical work you did.
Right.
That's what you sell within your organization. Your job is to find the people that can do it, find the people that can sell it, find the people that will account for it. You have to build the structure of the business, the infrastructure that's going to allow it to scale and grow, because that's where your business becomes an asset. It's now valuable. You can sell that to somebody else.
Right.
And if you're the guy performing the work every day, nobody wants to buy your job from you. Let's put it that way.
Right.
I just got back from a 2-week European vacation. No major fires to put out. My business made sales. My business put jobs in the ground. They collected the money. The customers start complaining.
That's respect, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I call that respect. When you have that many tradesmen in all these different fields, they respect you. No matter if you're on vacation or playing golf or in the field, they respect you.
I think a lot of the business owners have a hard time letting go in the beginning.
Okay.
And so I try to live by a rule, the 80% rule. And the 80% rule means that if this person can do the job I'm doing 80% as good as I can do it, that's going to be good enough. The prospective client doesn't know that I'm 20% better. I didn't show them that yet. And B, I now have 100% of my time available. I can use a little bit of that time to go make them 20% better, to check the work, to polish up on the work, to make sure that I'm not leaving my client falling short either.
Right.
But I have to separate myself from the daily physical duties in order to be the leader that can now recruit the talented people into the organization, that can train the people to another level, and creating processes and systems that, let's say they don't have a ceiling. there's ways that anybody can continue to grow within the organization, and you never feel like there's nowhere left. And it's a big pyramid. I can't be responsible for everybody in the organization, but I can create the layers of responsibility and disseminate that information down.
I'm going to go back to what you said, that triangle, because you are the top of the triangle. You are the leader, right? And
yes,
it kind of trickles down, right? But you mentor those younger people. You try to help them. You try to build them up. And it's amazing. You have that big of a team.
So
you're doing something right, right?
After years of trainings and mentorships, I reflected back, and I will never forget any one of the people who taught me something that I perceived as valuable. It was life-changing for me. And I can quote you the names and the things that I was taught.
Right.
And when that's kind of really sunk in, and I thought to myself, I want to have that impact on others. If I can help them make life-changing, momentum, then, will that person ever forget me? And
right.
And it's just a belief in giver's gain. The more people that I can help every day, the more people are out there that are willing to help me. It's a process of motivation. What have I done for you that motivates you to stop doing your own job and then come try and help me instead?
Right.
So the more we do this, I don't have to prospect. I don't have to go out and look for leads and opportunities. They come to me.
Right.
And quite frankly, when I would prospect with internet advertising, I might only close the deal 10% of the time. It took a lot of energy to establish my credibility before the job came in.
Sure.
And then I had to, maybe cut my margins a little bit to try and capture that job. And the customer was probably, because they don't know me as well, didn't trust me as well, they were probably more of a pain in the neck to work with throughout. I had to keep reconvincing them throughout the process why they made a good decision.
Okay.
Because they're doubtful. But when somebody sends me a referral, I've sort of borrowed on their credibility. They already said I'm good. I don't have to invest that time. I'm going to close more often, and to 25%.
Higher closing ratio.
So that's a play that gives me back some of my time.
That's a huge plus.
I'm going to probably get a higher average sale and a higher margin because they're a more trusting person. And it's going to be a smoother, easier client to deal with over a duration of time that becomes this relationship.
Support this episode of the Palm Harbor Chamber of Commerce podcast and help us grow our community.
Well, that's a perfect segue to go in because you're the author of the best-selling book, Constructing Success.
It's available on Amazon and Kindle. It sounds like a construction.
I'm reading it right now as we speak.
It sounds like a construction book, but it is not. This is a book that helps any business owner that has relationships with clients how to understand the psyche of the client better and how to ultimately manage the client experience better. Because it comes from my perspective, though. My world, I tear your prized possession apart. I destroy it first before I put it back together.
And build it back up.
It looks horrific in the beginning.
Right.
And everything that we're going to talk about potentially costs more money and allows for more time. And every day strangers are showing up in your house and you're making your coffee on the bathroom vanity. It's just gross. And think about camping. It's a fun idea. It's fun for the first 2 days. What if I told you had to stay there for the next 90 days?
Right.
You'd be miserable. You couldn't wait to go home. Everything's
well, you have to rethink your strategy,
yeah,
right?
You've missed a lot of work. You're stressed out.
Right.
This is not what you do every day. You're not comfortable. So I have to get through that process and have you still like me at the end if you want to get a referral or testimonial, right? I want a client who's willing to go out on the boat with me after this project's over, and establish a new friend who's willing to sing my praises and help me capture more. So you really got to be aware of where the hazards and the pitfalls are in the life cycle of the client. How can I be 2 moves ahead, like a game of chess, and I know they're about to fall. I'm going to prepare them for the fall and then catch them while they're falling, and make this less painful. Because the less painful the experience, the better the testimony.
And that builds that respect for that customer, and it just carries on, right?
Absolutely.
It's like a domino effect. Absolutely, that's great. So let's switch gears a little bit. Being part of the Palm Harbor Chamber, being the chairman, being on all the different board seats, being at the chamber for 12 plus years, thank you for your service here. We really do appreciate it. But explain more about what the chamber is really about.
So, there was a book co-authored by a guy, Dr. Ivan Meisner, who was also called the father of modern networking. But the book's called The Networking Disconnect. And the reference to this book means if I show up at the chamber meeting and say, who in the room wants to sell something today, every person in the room will raise their hand.
Sure.
If I reverse that question, I say, who here in the room came to buy something today? and nobody will raise their
Crickets.
hand. So if you come to this, event and you are trying to sell something, you're going to fall way short. And quite frankly, you're going to repel people from wanting to get to know you deeper, because who wants to sign up for a sales pitch? Nobody. I'll avoid that telemarketing call, like the plague. So if you think about reverse psychology and you think about, I approach this from the angle of what can I do to help you? And then I actually do something that might help you. Now I just prime the pump in this relationship. I made a deposit into my relationship bank.
Right.
And if I'm out there making deposits every day, the withdrawals are ready to be had.
Absolutely.
And
I agree,
quite frankly,
100%.
if I've given you 3 referrals, and I've earned the right to come ask you for referrals.
Sure.
I'm never going to ask out front, because
Right.
that's
You've built that
repelling
respect.
people. This is the law of attraction. And if I want other members in the chamber to help me, well, I can't tell them go sell my product, because that's putting them in an uncomfortable situation.
Yeah.
They don't know the parameters of the rebuttals, and what if somebody says no, and that's just scary. So nobody's going to do that. So if you think that's going to get you results, I'm telling you, you're wasting your time.
Right.
If I go and spend lunch with you and say, you know what? I know about 500 people that you don't know. Let's see if one of those people could be a potential referral partner, and I introduce you to that person. Well, I'm setting you up in an easy way to do the same for me, and I'm paying it forward. I'm going to do this for you to be impactful. And now, if you wanted to reciprocate, here's how you do it. Here's the message. Can you tell that architect that I do 100 construction projects a year, and that about 90% of them need a set of plans, so I can literally refer him all day, every day, and I'm not happy with the current service I'm getting. The guy's taking too long and costing too much, so there is something to be won here.
Right.
And now when you express the message that way, you're a hero. You're coming in doing them a favor that they appreciate you for. And I appreciate you for doing it. And
Sure.
so you've motivated 2 people at the same time to now want to do the same for you.
Right.
But what is it you're looking for? Make sure that you've really thought this out. If you're telling me you're in the title business, Kurt, so you work with realtors, right?
Right.
And
Realtors,
they give you
mortgage
they
professionals.
would give
Yep.
you lots of referrals.
Sure.
How many do you give back to them? Do you give a bunch of houses to the realtor to sell? Do you give a bunch of mortgages for the guy to close?
Right.
If you don't have the ability to do that, you still want to get to them, but that's not your referral partner. That is your target market.
Right.
So your referral partner would be the person that leads you to the target market.
Correct.
And you could lead them to the target market as
Right.
well. So what about the guy that does the pest inspections and the termite inspections, or the overall home inspections? What about those guys? They want to know realtors. You want to know realtors. So now, if you each know a pool of realtors, maybe there's some unique ones you can cross introduce. My friend Sean Yesner, he put out a podcast once before, and he talked about reservation for 2, table for 4. And the idea is we're going to have a standing reservation for lunch once a week, once a month, and we got a room for 4 because you're bringing somebody and so am I.
Okay.
And we're
I like that.
going to cross-pollinate the introductions.
Okay.
This is easy to do for each other. And we can
Right.
do this from day one that we start into the chamber.
Right.
And the more we start doing that fast and furious, and the more one-to-ones that we get with people, and showing up at the meeting is not going to get you any business. And not even hardly enough visibility, because some people in the room were talking to their neighbor while you were speaking. And they heard 40 other commercials right after yours. It's out the other ear.
Right.
So if you really want somebody to know you, you show up to the meeting
Consistently.
with the intent of scheduling another meeting.
Correct.
Every time I show up, I'm gonna walk around the room and say, "Hey, we haven't done a one-to-one yet. How about we
Right.
trade cards and get together next week?"
There you go.
And then we schedule some time. We spend an hour. We mutually share our time. I want to learn how I can help you, and you're gonna learn how you can help me. And then, while we'll wait for some transactions to fall in our lap, which does happen, and those are great to receive,
Right.
that transaction only represents a commission to somebody. It doesn't change the business plan. But if I introduce you to a referral partner that you give to them and they give back, that'll last. That could last for the next 10 years. And if both your businesses grow simultaneously, it'll get bigger and bigger and badder all the time. And so, how do you value that? Count all the transactions over a decade.
It's invaluable, yeah.
That we have to establish a new business plan on.
Right.
That we have to hire more personnel to cover. That we build a better value to our assets, so that when we do say we're ready to retire, all the effort of those years just got compounded by 2 to 5 to 10 times, depending on what multiplier you get in your industry. It's insane, the compounding value. So
Join the Palm Harbor Chamber of Commerce to boost your network, attend exclusive events, and support local businesses.
I think my best advice to new members coming in is don't come in here thinking I'm going to go capture transactions now. Come in here thinking that if I can help enough of these people people will return the favor, and that work will flow in so much easier and smoother in time. But ultimately, all I need from them right now is to introduce me to the one person they know that would be in my contact sphere.
Okay.
So my contact sphere, that's going to be the people who relate to me. We're in different businesses. We don't compete, but we're helping the same person at the same time.
Sure.
So like, a wedding. Imagine how many things the bride needs, from the dress to the cake to the jewelry to the prenup. Who thought the baker and the lawyer had something in common? But they do if they serve the same bride at the same time. You're in real estate, how many things they need when they're buying or selling a house.
Right. I mean, like you mentioned before, it's home inspection, it's roofers, it's pest inspection, the list goes on, right? So if you can introduce those people to your real estate agents or your mortgage professional, it's priceless.
So if you show up in a place and you are the smartest person in the room, you're probably in the wrong room. And so the other benefit that comes from chamber membership is surrounding yourself with other business owners. And it can be lonely at the top. We could use the guidance of somebody else who's maybe been through this experience before, figured out what not to do or what worked best. Yeah. And we can lean on the experience around us to get there faster. And these people might have some very well-established resources in their network that can really help and support us along the way too.
Right. So almost 7 years, a little bit of experience from me from 7 years ago when I joined the chamber. I didn't know exactly what the chamber actually did to a certain extent. And two people came up to me. The first person said, "Hey, my name is so-and-so." And I said, "Hey, I'm Kurt Rhodes with Clear Title." He goes, "How can I help you?" And I was like, wow, okay, that's a different approach. You usually don't have that approach. That's my approach with other people. But when he came up to me and said that to me, I was like, wow, okay. And then the next person came up to me and pretty much said the same exact thing. I'm like, okay, I feel at home here. You really want to help people. Like you said, you didn't hit the nail on the head. Helping others will just exponentially help you 10 times over.
My first chamber meeting, I'll never forget, and I'll stick with first names only. And but my buddy Frank, Frank, he's my buddy. I'm telling you,
I know Frank.
But boy, it was a rough start because my first meeting, Frank approached me and said, "Here's what I do. You need to send me all your clients. Here's 10 of my cards. Give them to all your friends, and then ask me nothing about myself." And then I thought, okay, that was nice. I put the cards in my pocket. Later on, I put them in my garbage can.
Right.
And my second meeting, and about 3 weeks later, and "Hi, I'm Frank. You need to be sending me all your clients, refer me all your people. Here's 10 of my cards." Never asked me about myself. I'd forgotten that he had met me. And I put 10 more cards in my pocket, and I thought, I've got a referral to the business card printing guy because they went in my garbage can too. And on the third meeting, same thing. And I said, "Frank, we've met twice before already." And I said, "If you want somebody to have your business card, why don't you ask them for their business card first and see what happens next?"
Right.
"Hey, Kurt, love to get to know you. Your title? Cool. I know some people you might want to meet. Can I have one of your cards?"
Right.
Naturally, Kurt's response is probably going to be, "Well, thank you. I appreciate you helping me like that. What do you do? What can I do for you? Give me one of your cards." And that, if you want people to take interest in you, take interest in them first. Yeah. And be willing to help and mean it. And the more I help people, the more I get referrals coming in. Right. I've actually had professional guidance and training over a 12-module program. And one of the big modules for me was all about, it was a networking scorecard. It helped me really recognize that when I saw some progress and some results coming from networking, I thought, okay, I just got to show up everywhere and that'll work. I put in a ton more time and I got less of a result because I wasn't spending enough time deepening any relationships anywhere. Okay. So I had to start to learn what really works to motivate others. So let's just kind of go down a checklist of things you could be doing to help. If I leave this podcast today and I go write you a handwritten note on a postcard, "Kurt, it was great you did a fantastic job as a host. I'm glad to be your first guest. And I'll thank you so much for thinking of me. You're amazing. I'm going to send you a referral soon." And then I drop it in the mail. 2 days from now, you've already kind of let this go out of your mind. You're working on the next things, but then you open the mailbox and bing, I just touched you again. And I brought the awareness back to the top of mind with you again. And you're remembering and reflecting on our conversation we already had. Now, that's a 1-point activity on my scorecard. What if after this I go on Facebook and I write a huge testimonial about what an amazing host you were, and I tag you, the podcast, the chamber, and everybody in the world's going to get to see it?
Right.
There's a couple of points for that kind of a motivation. That was awesome of me to do that for you, right?
Correct.
What if I set up my electronic signature on my email from now on? Every single time I send an email, it also references the Chamber podcast, and everybody I ever talk to is going to know about it.
Right.
I'm going to get a point every time.
Okay.
What if I have a newsletter and I feature you in the podcast in it? What if I have an event and I invite you to come, be at the event, meet other podcasters or people that could be guests, or even let you host a podcast from the event, things of that nature? That'd be super motivating for you. If you have an event and I bring people to you, or I bring potential trustees of the chamber to be here, a guest on your podcast, and
sure,
how about that? That would probably motivate you, every person that shows up.
Absolutely.
If I send you a referral, well, here's a name and number, Kurt. Be a telemarketer and call them. You still appreciate a referral, but let's call that a 1-point activity.
Right.
What if I said, hey, Kurt, when we're done with this podcast today, I'm going to call up this guy that I've already, prepped for this. He's ready to sign a membership. We'll get his card. I'm going to probably get him to upgrade to trustee 2 while at it. So, we got the sale done. I've already closed it for you, got the information, collected the money. That's a level 10 referral. So here we go. How much effort are you putting in for somebody?
Right.
And could you, instead of just giving a name and number, could you have at least done a 3-way text or a 3-way email to start the conversation? Could you have facilitated an appointment or even been present at the appointment, at the greeting, to help? The more effort I put in, the better chances are you're going to close. The more I help you close, the more you're going to be motivated. Ultimately, that's all going to come back. And when you're in the room and people who you've helped are singing your praises, how do you think the guests and visitors in the room who've never met you before start to perceive you?
Right.
Hi, I'm Jason. I'm a 10-year board member, chairman of the board. I'm going to educate you on how to get the most out of your membership here today. I'm here to help you. And these 5 people all said that I'm awesome. It didn't take me long to establish credibility with the person that I just met by the way I've positioned myself by being the giver and the helper. These are the best strategies, best tactics, best practices that I can give as my advice to anybody new to this chamber. Is you need to show up often, you need to be engaged, you need to be out there trying to get one-on-one time with everybody, whether you have something in common with them or not. If your businesses don't relate that much, find out what personal interest you have. I've actually converted my job into going golfing, fishing, and clay shooting throughout the week, taking my referral partners that I'm trying to motivate and cross-pollinating who comes so they can meet people they haven't met before.
Absolutely.
Everybody's
It's a win-win, right?
It's a win-win-win. I got less time invested at work. I make more money in the end result faster, and I have fun in the process of doing it. I mean, it's a win-win-win, and for all the people who showed up that day.
Yeah.
I mean, do you remember your last one-to-one at Panera Bread? Can you tell me in detail what you guys talked about? Probably forgot about it 30 minutes after you walked out the door. You took a phone call.
Right, yeah.
And can you remember the day on the golf course when I hit the hole-in-one?
Yes,
on
I
7?
did. It never hit the green, hit the side of the hill, rolled in,
But
went in the hole.
Are you ever going to forget that?
No.
So that one-to-one lives in history.
I couldn't believe you could actually jump that high.
My buddy Lee Carr will tell you about the time that I took off my shoes to hit my ball from the middle of the creek.
Okay.
And those things you don't forget,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So it's about creating
Unique
experiences
experience,
that sink in. This is the way you can get there faster.
Folks, this is why I invited Jason Avery as the first episode of this podcast. He's a world of knowledge, great. He's just a referral guru. You really are. And you have a lot of good substance that really can help our members.
I've been learning from the day that I started, and I'm not too proud to continue learning. Somebody can teach you something always.
Absolutely.
So the key is I didn't invent this stuff. I was taught it. I executed and mastered it, and I stick to it. And I find sometimes if I'm not getting enough results out of that one organization, and I look back, I go, well, yeah, I really haven't done any one-to-ones. I really haven't tried to help introduce anybody in there. So now I got to go put some gas on the fire. Yep. And quite frankly, you might be thinking, well, I'm so busy in my job, I don't have time for all this. Hey, I hired myself a virtual admin assistant, and I scripted what the emails and the conversation should look like. Right. And so now I say I want to meet these 3 people. She's going to email them all for me, have 5 more emails back and forth about when, where, why, and how, and then she's going to put it in my calendar. I only had to show up and have a conversation. The follow-up to any meeting should result in the action plan where you're going to try and do something for them to start the motivation. So I'm going to make sure before I'm done, I've identified 1 or 2 people I know to introduce to each of these people I've talked to, and I'm going to let my assistant know that I'm ready to do that, and she's going to do the 3-way emails to get all them connected. If I need to turn in those results or sales slips anywhere, she'll do that for me too.
Right.
And then now they're motivated to send back somebody. I just forward the email to her, and she's going to thank you, Kurt. Appreciate you sending that over.
Yes.
Hey, so-and-so, I believe I can send you business. That's how the conversation started. Right. It's not about why you should come, sell for me. It's I got business to hand over, and we can talk about it to see how I feel about sending it your way.
Sure.
The psychology of the conversation is that person's coming to a job interview with me. Mm-hmm. They're trying to figure out if they can win me over, so I send them these referrals I've spoken of.
Right.
And I'm going to send them referrals fast as I can, but if I don't have one fast enough, I got to touch them otherwise. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce them to somebody they might want to meet. I'm going to invite them to an event, and I'm going to, inviting somebody to an event, or just telling them about it, that's a 1 point. But if I say, I got the afternoon off, let's go together, I'm your wingman. And when we walk around the room, I introduce you before you even introduce yourself, because you introduced me in a very powerful way at the beginning of this. I really appreciate you for that. That comes across so much more powerful than if I stood up here on this podcast saying, hey, let me sell you something today because I'm awesome. Right. Best service, best quality. Everybody says that stuff, Right. And so my suggestion is for the members coming in, get engaged, get to know people as fast as possible, figure out how to streamline it, make it more fun, and start helping others, and you will see results faster than you imagine.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Palm Harbor Chamber newsletter for updates and the next episode. A big thank you to our trustees for their incredible support.
This podcast was produced by ABS Photo and Video.